In December 2008, the benchmark price for a condo in Greater Vancouver was $333,275. That was a drop of 11.7% from where it had been 12 months earlier and 14.5% below the May 2008 peak. Both figures confirmed directly from the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver's December 2008 monthly market report. Condo sales that month collapsed 53.7% compared to December 2007 and more than half the transaction volume in a single year. And the sentiment at the time was identical to what you are hearing today. Wait, don't catch that falling knife, and it is not the right time to buy. By December 2010, the condo benchmark had recovered to $387,115 confirmed by the December 2010 monthly market report, and that is essentially a full recovery from the December 2007 pre-drop benchmark of $377,579, and it happened in approximately 24 months. The people who were waiting for confirmation that the market had turned, they bought back into a fully recovered market. The people who were willing to do the analytical work and find motivated sellers during the pullback, they bought at a meaningful discount to where the market ended up. I want to be direct with you about something before we get into today's screen share. I'm not predicting a condo market recovery in any specific time frame. That would be irresponsible, and frankly, the conditions today have some important differences from 2008 that are worth understanding. What I am doing today is showing you a method, a specific way to look inside the current condo inventory and identify the listings where sellers have genuine motivation to close a deal. Because in a buyer's market, not all sellers are equal, and the ones who need to sell are going to negotiate in ways that the ones who cannot wait simply will not. Let me show you where the condo market actually sits right now. We're going to use the data from 2025 as a benchmark here. So at the end of 2025, the benchmark price for a condo apartment in Metro Vancouver was $710,000, down 5.3% year over year. The sales to active listings ratio across all residential property types in Metro Vancouver sitting at 12.6% overall. Condos are tracking into around that balance to buyers territory with downward pressure on prices confirmed by the year-over-year benchmark decline. To give you a sense of scale on the inventory side, Wow.ca citing REBGV data reported that 2025 saw 65,335 total properties listed across Metro Vancouver, eclipsing the previous record from 2008 by approximately 1,000 listings. Meanwhile, annual sales came in at around 23,800, the lowest total in over 2 decades. That is a significant supply and demand imbalance, and it does not fall evenly across the market. Certain buildings, certain price bands, and certain unit types are sitting on market far longer than others, and that is where you start to find the motivated seller signal. Now, I want to walk you through the 2008 comparison more carefully because there is an important nuance here that most people miss when they talk about the condo market specifically. In 2008, the condo pullback in Vancouver was actually sharper on a percentage basis from peak to trough than the detached market. 14.5% from May to December versus the detached market, same 15.9% over the same period. Both segments were moving in the same direction, but what is interesting is how they behaved on the recovery. According to the REBGV December 2010 report, the condo benchmark recovered to $387,115, essentially marking the pre-correction level from December 2007, and detached homes by that same point had pushed above the pre-correction level to $797,868, above the December 2007 benchmark of $730,399. What that tells you historically is that both segments recovered, but detached outperformed condos on the recovery trajectory. In the current environment, the condo market is facing some additional headwinds that did not exist in 2008. Specifically, a large cohort of investors who purchased at 2021 and 2022 price levels, which were significantly above today's benchmarks, and who are dealing with mortgage renewal pressures at rates that are meaningfully higher than what they qualified under. This is a pressure point that creates motivated sellers in the condo segment in a way that is distinct from the detached market. According to reporting from the Real Estate Institute of Canada, many investors who purchased in the 2021 to 2022 window are sitting on negative equity in their rental units and experiencing cash flow strain. As those mortgages come up for renewal, you will see some of those units come to market at prices that reflect the seller's need to exit, not the seller's desire to maximize the return. Let me be clear about what that means strategically. It does not mean every condo that comes to market right now is a good deal. In fact, the majority of listings are still priced by sellers who believe the market will come back to them and they are willing to wait. Those are not the properties I'm going to show you today. The properties I want to identify are the ones where the data tells a different story. Extended days on market, multiple price reductions, original list price, significantly above current ask, and listing history that suggests the seller has already started to negotiate with the market. Those signals are visible inside the MLS if you know what to filter for. For buyers in the condo segment specifically, a few things worth framing here. If you are a first-time buyer and you have been renting and building savings, you are in a position today that you were not in during 2021 or early 2022. Inventory is high, competition is low, and motivated sellers exist in this market in a volume that has not been in over a decade. That does not mean you should buy any property, but it does mean that negotiating environment is more favorable than anything buyers have seen since the period right after 2018 foreign buyer tax impact. If you're an upsizer, someone holding a condo and looking to move into a townhouse or larger unit, the same spread logic applies here as I described from the detached market. In a declining price environment, the gap between what you are selling and what you are buying both compresses. But if you are buying at a higher price point than you are selling, you are typically coming out ahead on the net transaction. The key is not to wait until conditions turn back to confirm what you already suspect. By the time sentiment is positive, the spread opportunity will have largely closed. And if you're an investor or someone who has been following this market for years and wondering whether the thesis for Vancouver home ownership still holds up long term, the 2008 data point I showed you at the top of this video is the answer. The market pulled back 14.5% from peak to trough, and by December 2010, it had fully recovered. And from that recovery, and it continued upward for years. Vancouver did not stop being a supply-constrained global city because of a 7-month price pullback. The structural drivers did not disappear. The buyers who understood that and made moves while sentiment was negative were rewarded for it. The question today is the same question it was in late 2008. Are you going to wait for certainty, or are you going to do the analytical work now? I cannot answer that for you. What I can do is show you how to find the properties where the negotiating leverage is real. And right now in this market, using live MLS data, let me pull up the screen and walk you through it now. Let's jump to the MLS data, and you can see here we have Vancouver East, Vancouver West. This is an attached search, and right now there's 2,909 listings available. So how do we filter out to see who needs to sell? And this is where the ninja trick comes in. You're going to see here realtor remarks, public remarks, okay? Public remarks are the descriptions that you see on all the public domains, realtor.ca, rew.ca, Zillow, and description of it. Realtor remarks are what is private that is not posted publicly, and this is realtor to realtor communication. And this is where you're going to search. And oftentimes, if someone is motivated to sell, they're going to write that into the realtor remarks. So we just went from 2,909 listings down to 96. So this is everywhere where they don't want public to know, but this is the data points where it says that there is motivation from the seller, okay? So this is where you start to filter things out, right? You're gonna have a variety of pricing from 419,000 all the way up to 6.9. So let's use that as an instrument. Let's go to the cheapest and then go to the more expensive one here. So this one is 601 188 Kiefer Street. And in the realtor remarks, I'm not going to show them because they are private. This is something that the seller wants to communicate to a buyer to make a deal. This is a 500 square foot condo, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and it is listed at 419,000. So let's go into the history to see what's happened here. So we can see that this is an original buyer. We don't see a close date on here. But this was first brought to market in 2022 at 549. It was terminated that year. And then they waited a couple years into 2026 recently at $469,000. So if we go up into a tax assessment here, on the bottom, you can see that this seller is actually doing not so bad. They purchased this for $269,900 as a pre-sale, and this thing closed on August 3rd, 2016. So the good thing for these guys, they are in an equity position. I'm not sure if a mortgage renewal is coming up or what the case is, but when there's a motivation in there, there's some reason that they need to move it. Maybe they are taking advantage of this upsize. They found a really good detached deal. They have it closing. They need to move this one. So this is what it looks like. They don't always have to be these old homes. You know, this is one that's downtown in somewhat of a newer building here, some newer finishes. And this is a list of homes, like I said, where there's motivation that's heavy. If you want this list of these 96, comment buy in the comments and I'll send you the full list of all these motivated sellers. So that's what we have out the cheap end. Let's go somewhere in the middle, maybe like a townhouse or a duplex. This one's in Yaletown. So they have like a big variety of homes here. This one here, this is on 6190 Cambie Street, 1.298 million, 8 days on market, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 1,376 square foot. And let's look at the history to see what the story is here. So this individual, again, in a very good This situation here in a very good equity position, purchased for 332 at 1.3 million. So not sure what the motivation is there, but if someone is expressing that, that's something to look at. For myself, you know, because this property is quite fresh on market, I mean, I don't know if I would go after this one particularly. Even if they say motivated, sometimes they just put that in just to try to get some offers. I want to see something like we found in the detached segment where something's been on and off the market for a couple years. I'm thinking if we go a little bit higher, let's go to this upper end one to see a history here to show you what I mean by that. So we want to see multiple of these terminated or expired. So here is one right now. So this is 2023. It's been on and off the market originally at 7.990. They dropped it in 2025 to 7.190, and they dropped it another $1 million in June of 2027 down to 6.190, right? So this is something more that we'd be wanting to look at, a drop of almost $3 million. If we look at, if we look at the tax assessment on this property, it's still well above the assessed value at 4.487. So that could be some of the issue here. But this is something that we would want to be looking at. This is from Nick Wang, who is the listing brokerage, a 3,000 square foot condo in Yaletown. Let's see what these strata fees are. You know, obviously with unit entitlement, they're going to be huge. So $3,825 a month for your strata, $19,800 for taxes. And let's see what these photos are here. So very open concept, lots of windows. I mean, to me, I don't know if it's really my cup of tea, but I mean, that view I could get used to. But these are some of the things that you're going to be wanting to look for. Again, when we want to compare it to the assessed value, I'm not saying that the assessed value is what it's worth, but it's just a little bit of a barometer to see where they're at. If they're well above that assessed value, you know, this one is a couple $1,000,000 or whatever, you know, it may be a little bit out to lunch. You know, we want to see pricing that's a little bit closer with that gap of that assessed value. Let's see if we can find one, and something that's been on and off again for a number of years. So this one here is listed at 2.88. And so you can start to see here, there's a pretty decent history here. So they started at 3,328 in May of 2005. They're down 2.88. And they've been on market now for 14 days. So again, this is a motivated seller here. 2,300 managed duplex, no strata fee on this one. So I have some videos about the differences between a condo and a duplex, especially no strata fee on the duplex side. You don't have to worry about that $3,800 a month strata fee. So let's look at some photos here. This is, you know, a beautiful modern duplex. Let's see some interior shots. Yeah, elevated ceiling heights, some nice high-end finishes. This is something that's a little bit of a throwback with the curved stairwell here. This is a 2024 build, and it says GST not included. So if we go down here, it says a brand new duplex. So keep in mind that there is going to be 5% GST on this as well. But again, this is something to look for. If you are looking at something from a builder who's been carrying this, at some point they're going to have to just cut their losses and let it go. So these are some of the tips that we're looking for. And again, if you want that list, comment by. I'll give you that list of all 96 of these properties. If you want to talk about it further, scan that QR code to get into my calendar, and I'll see you on the next one.